Good morning, dear students. I hope you all are fine. So, in today's class, we are going to start a new lesson, that is, what is democracy and why democracy. This is the first chapter in civics. So, today we are going to discuss about the new topic, that is, what is democracy. What is democracy and why democracy? And in this chapter, we are mainly discuss four things. The first one is the definition of democracy, and then the features of democracy, and the third one, the arguments for the democracy, and the fourth one, arguments against the democracy. These are the four important things that we are going to learn in this chapter. Okay. So in previous classes, we already learned so much about democracy, right? But we never clearly or in detail we are not learning about the definition of democracy, right? So in today's class, we will learn the definition of democracy in detail. Okay, so before starting that, I will show you a picture of one famous person. Just tell me who is that person, okay? Who is this? Yes, this is Abraham Lincoln. He is the 16th president of US, right? So he given a very important notation on democracy. The quote is very famous. What is that quote? Anybody knows that? Yes, in this quote he is telling that democracy is the government of the people, by the people and for the people. What is that? Democracy is government of the people, by the people and for the people. From this definition, we can clearly understand that. What? Yes, this is the rule of people. All the powers are in the hands of people. So this is the rule of people. Right? And the definition is that on democracy. That is, democracy is the form of government in which the leaders are elected by the people. What is that? Democracy is a form of government in which the leaders are elected by the people. Let me write it in the board. So, the definition of democracy is that democracy is the form of government in which the leaders are elected by the people. So, in this definition, four words are very important. I will underline that points. The first one is the form of government, and the second one is leaders, and third one is election, and the fourth one is people. When we learn about these terms in detail, we can understand the correct meaning of democracy and what are pretend to be democracy. Okay. So the first one is form of government. Do you know which are the forms of government? Yes, we already learned that there are so many forms of governments are there, that are monarchy, parliamentary form of government, presidential form of government, all that forms of governments are there. Right? And the second one is that the leaders. Who are the leaders here? The leaders means we know that so many types of leaders are there, like Dictatorship leaders are there, republic leaders are there, democratic leaders are there, all types of leaders are there. But here, who are the leaders? The leaders are those people who are elected by the people, right? The leaders should be elected once. And election. What is the process of election? What is called as an election? Yes, election is a process in which the citizens of the country electing their or selecting their representatives through the process of voting. That is election. All the people have the right to contest in elections, and they can be the representatives of the people according to the choice of people. And the last one is people. Who are the people here? These are the citizens of the country, and they have the right to vote. So every citizen of the country should have the equal right to vote, irrespective of anything. So these are the important terms that we are considering when we explain about the definition of democracy. So, what is democracy? Democracy is the form of government in which the leaders are elected by people. This is the definition of democracy. Okay, I think now we know more about democracy, the definition of democracy, right? So, now we are going to learn about the features of democracy. So when we learn that in detail, you will understand more about the definition of democracy. Let's go to the features of democracy. Okay. So there are mainly 4 features are there for democracy. We will explain it one by one. Okay. The first one is major decisions by elected members. The first feature is that the major decisions by the major decision should be taken by the elected leaders. The elected leaders. That is the important point here. And here we are explaining it with the help of the example of Pakistan. Do you heard about Parvez Musharraf? Yes, he was the Army Chief of Pakistan. And in 1999, Parvez Musharraf overthrew the democratically elected government and declared himself as the chief of the government. And in 2002, he declared himself as the president of that Pakistan. But that time, and he passed a referendum also. And in that time, the media and human rights activists from the Pakistan said that that's an illegal activity and that is a fraud activity. So that time he do one thing, that he passed a legal framework, and in this he is declaring that the president have the right to dismiss the national and the provincial assemblies, and he appointed the army official, the chief army officials as the head of the civil cabinet. So in Pakistan, elections are there. To provinces and national assemblies, elections are held in Pakistan. But all the important decisions are taken by who? Yeah, the head of the cabinet. Who are the head of the cabinet? Army chiefs. So the army chiefs and the Parvez Musharraf takes the important decisions in Pakistan, and that members from the provincial assemblies and national assemblies didn't have any right in decision making. So we can say that the Pakistan is not a democracy, right? Because that members, Pervez Musharraf and the army heads are not elected by the government. No, sorry, elected by the people. So that is not a democracy. Some countries are also there like that. Some countries are following monarchy and all. They are having elected representatives in their assemblies, but the major decision might be taken by the head, like a king and the queen. So that type of government is not a democratic government. In a democratic government, the decision should be taken by the elected leaders. Okay. So the second point is that free and fair electoral competition. So here we are taking the examples of China and the Mexico. In China, in every 5 years, they are having the regular elections to elect the country's parliament. But one problem is there, only the people from the National People's Congress are allowed to participate in the election, or the person from the National People's Congress only appointed as the president of the country. So problem is there, right? If it's a democratic government, free and fair electoral competition should be there. But in China, when we take the case of China, there is no equal right to other parties in China in conducting election. So we can say that the China is not also a democratic country because there is no free and fair electoral competition is there. And we can say the example of Mexico also. In Mexico also, since independence, the Mexico is having election on every 6 years to elect their parliament. And there is no military or dictatorship leadership also there. But one problem is there. Every election is won by some specific party, that is PRI, Institutional Revolutionary Party. Only PRI is won the election until 2000. So what they are doing? But in that country, other parties are also allowed to contest in election. But one problem is there, the party PRI doing cheating on other parties. They are doing many bad things and all to won the election, and even the government officials and teachers of government schools are forced to make the parents to vote for their party members. So through the fraud activity and all, they are continuously winning the election. So that's also is not a fair electoral competition, right? If it is a democratic country, they should follow a free and fair electoral competition. Otherwise, it is not a democratic country. Right? Yes. Then the third point is that one person, one vote, one value. Before explaining this, I want to know that, do you know about universal adult franchise? What is universal adult franchise? Yes, universal adult franchise means the citizens who are having 18 and above the age of 18 should have the right to vote in the country, irrespective of their caste, creed, place of birth, and all. Every citizen should have the right to vote. So that is called as the universal adult franchise. This feature is very much related to the universal adult franchise. And here also we are having some examples. The first one is that until 2015, the women from Saudi Arabia didn't have the right to participate in elections. And when we take the case of Estonia, the people from Russian community are not allowed to participate in the election. They didn't get the voting right as other people in the country. And the third example is that the case of Fiji. In Fiji, the different values were there for vote. The indigenous Fiji people have the more voting value than the votes of the Indian Fijians. So different values were there for same vote. This is also is not a fair practice, right? If any country is following these types of things, we can say that the country is also not a democratic country. If it is a democratic country, they should have one person, one vote, one value system. Okay. Then the fourth one is that rule of law and respect for rights. Explaining this with the help of Zimbabwe. So until 1980, the Zimbabwe was under the white minority, and in 1980 only they became independent from the white minority. And we know that Zimbabwe is a place in South Africa. And the one party was there who was led the freedom struggle, that was the ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF was the political party led the freedom struggle, and the leader of that political party was the Robert Mugabe. What is the name? Robert Mugabe. Robert Mugabe was the leader of the ZANU-PF, that is the political party led the freedom struggle. So after the freedom, when they got freedom, the Robert Mugabe became the president of the Zimbabwe, and he was a very popular person, and his party is also very popular. As we all know that it is a usual thing, because he and his party led the freedom struggle. So he is very popular. But when he came into power, he do many mischievous things. Like he was changed his constitution several times. For one, to increase the power of the president. He is the president. He have to increase his power. So many times he changed the constitution. And in that country, the opposition party leaders were harassed and their meetings were disrupted. If it is a democratic country, the opposition should be also there. But the opposition were repressed by the government. And the public protests and demonstrations against the government also denied in that place, and TV and radio were controlled by the government. Only the ruling country's side are showing to the public, and TV and television and all other media have controlled by the government to show only the ruling side parties side. And we know that in judiciary is the very important thing in the democracy, and they sometimes they ignore court judgments also, and they are pressurized judges for some judgments. So if it's this type of country, how we can say that that's a democratic country, right? So but elections are there. These Robert Mugabe and his party were elected by the people, but after getting power, they became doing all these things. So how we can say that this country is also a democratic country? So we can't say that it is a democratic country, right? And after the effect that, and in 2007 he forced out from the government. This was the final result. So if it is a democratic country, the country should have these 4 features. What are the important features of democratic country? The major decision should be taken by the elected leaders. Not only the leaders, elected leaders. And free and fair electoral competition should be there in a democratic country. And the third one is that one person, one vote, one value should be there. And the fourth point is that rule of law and respect for rights also should be there. If a country having these features of democracy, then only we can say that that country is a democratic country. Okay, now we learn clearly about the definition and features of democracy, right? Now I hope you all understand it very well. Now you can distinguish between democracy and what are democratic and pretend to be. Okay, so try to do one thing as a homework. Collect some countries' names and try to distinguish them as democratic and non-democratic or pretend to be democratic. Like that, write it in your notebook. Okay? So, thank you for the cooperation. Today's class is over. Thank you.